To work when I would get my shots up. I was watching some of this Princess Diaries to put it on the news when I came back in. And the man training the princess quoted Eleanor Roosevelt, nobody can make you feel inferior without your permission. So by all means, give yourself permission, Submit to Islam, then no one has to be superior, right? Everyone should be able to understand what that means. If you don't understand what that means, well, then you're not capable of giving yourself permission to be inferior to the Christ. Okay? And when the Christ you see is superior to you, you submit to Islam, and then no one has to be inferior or superior. It's called peace. Try it sometime. Okay? So I'm sitting out there in the barn and I'm listening to Patti LaBelle. Told myself I wanted to be free. It's like free. Without the responsibility of faithful love, human beings do not have freedom. Okay? Freedom is only through the responsibility of faithful love. Okay? We cannot exist in freedom. Otherwise, we're slaves to staying alive, to cloning, to robotics, to fighting and killing and fighting. So no one can have freedom without the responsibility of faithful love, right? And then Linda Ronstadt came on. I remember Peggy gave me that shit about this, and I was like, no, don't be racist because her dad is Mexican and her mom is white. And you have a bunch of bigots around here that probably might agree with you, okay? Recognize the beauty of the voice. God is the grace of every child, and not a man's faith-forsaking, raping, murdering loins, or a woman's wretched womb that lets herself be fucked. And if you don't believe that, just go to Egypt and take a look around and walk around and read the walls. Like Morgan Freeman, and ask yourselves, are we born inherently good or inherently evil? That depends on what you think you worship, right? So you don't have to show up at this YouTube channel, okay, to make an ass of yourself. You just have to open your mouth and just keep talking and not submitting to the faith of the Messiah and living the Lord's Prayer globally, okay? You don't have to come here to feel like an ass. You just have to open your mouth and let the ass speak, right? Because that's all you fuckers do, right? It's absolutely atrocious. If you ask me to, I just might change my mind and stay here in your arms forever. Why doesn't she put the top up on the car? Does it have a it does have a rag top. Why doesn't she put the top, when it was raining, why didn't she just put the top up? These movies make no sense. She's in there catching pneumonia in a nice Mustang with a rag top. These movies make no sense whatsoever. Okay. Please give yourself permission to be better than Eleanor Roosevelt and the Ayatollah Khomeini and the Ayatollah of Iran. Okay, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to be better than the President of the United States. Okay, any celebrity who thinks they're iconic and isn't it ironic, and I really do think. It's like rain on your wedding day. It's a good advice that you just didn't take, and who would have thunk or figured, right? I'm really cranky tonight. I have a son, and my son gets upset with me. Okay. I have children I raised. They're most likely conceived by leg lifters at a bar. And because I tell the truth about it, they get upset with me. You ought not go around telling people the truth. How can you live a truthful life and faithfully love and be loved in return if you don't go around telling people the truth? If you go around lying to people, they'll accept money and they'll fight and fuck and fuck and fight and fight and fuck. And it's all vulgar intercourse, so it's just fucking. Fucking. And then you all go out and buy ICP records, ICP music, and sit around and think, wow, this is what I found was so profound, I took a pen and wrote it down. All right, guys started going around to send my message across town. Okay, you don't have to write it down, just live it. Okay, submit and live. Give yourself permission to be inferior so no one has to be superior, right? It's called Islam, the way of Christ. Right. I happen to be the Christ. And if you don't believe that, make an ass of yourself for money and mass murder people over money. Tell everybody you're a Muslim or a Christian. Talking out your neck saying you're a Christian, a Muslim, sleeping with Jez. Now that was the sin that Jezebel in. Just because you read a book doesn't mean it really happened. Unicorns, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs really did happen. We have fossil things to prove that they happened. It doesn't matter if they had feathers or if they didn't have feathers. What matters is that they happened, and they're not happening that same way anymore. So don't Jurassic your park and be a dumbass and try to clone one so you can have, because you won't be able to keep it as a pet. Dumbass. No, we'd have to get people that are very capable of exterminating them off the face of the planet to exterminate them real quick without making a stupid movie about it, so you guys can sell dinosaur toys to kids that have emotional problems because they think they're part dinosaur. You're not part dinosaur. No. You share the same DNA of this planet with the animals of this planet, but that does not mean that you are part worm or part frog. It means that you share the same essence of existence with the worm and the frog, but you're a human being. You are capable of understanding that you're not the center of the universe. I don't think frogs and worms are. I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. I am neither frog nor worm. I'm a human being. I'm not a dog or a frog or a cow. Okay? And I'm not underdog. And I don't want to have a relationship with Sweet Polly Purebred because she's a dog. And I'm not going to call don't call my dog son. And I never had him call me dad. He called me by name, first name, Ralph. His name was Zeke, but he could call me by name. And Dad said that we have the only dog. We're the only people, we're the few people in town that have our dogs are able to call us by name. Ralph. Yes. You called Zeke? He's so cute. Old Zeke. Cats? No, cats say Raul. So cats have Mexican. It's funny. It's Raul. It's Raul. Okay, Raul. I'm being silly. Okay. Unless, of course, it's Element. Element says. So if your name is Element is your cat, could you come pick him up? I'm just kidding. He's a little cowboy, man. He is a little outlaw. He is so funny, man. When I sat there and told him about the fox, right? He sits there on the shelf looking at me, kind of staring at, rolling my eyes, like, yeah, like, tell me something I don't know. Okay. I've lived outside New Mexico almost my whole adult life, my whole coming of age life. You know? Okay. About 6 years old, spent the last 2 years in a place where they tried to find me a place where I could have a safer place to live. By two sweet ladies. So, yeah. That care about cats. Okay. Hey guys, the best way to care about cats is submit to Islam and live the truth and the faithful love of the Christ, right? You don't have to have shit like this going on. Give yourself permission to be inferior. Then no one has to be superior, right? Isn't that wonderful? Then you don't have to have public displays of public drunkenness and intoxication like this on TV anymore. You can just use the TV to spread the truth of the Christ and spread the glory of the rapture of Islam globally. That sounds nice. And I don't ever want to go to places like this and get dressed up like that and meet people like that. Hell no. Okay? What I want to do is just, I can't get the wretched little fucking assholes at the Corps of Army Engineers to build me just a simple, probably even digital printed basketball barn up in the Gila with a adobe house, enough with a bedroom for me and maybe a basement area, I don't know. At least 3 or 4 bedrooms in a basement area, so if I have a basement area over the basement area, wood floors would be nice. The rest of the, a Spanish tile would be nice. You can make it the big ones, decent indoor plumbing, some solar panels, a windmill, It's in the Gila. I'll get lots of wind and I'll get lots of sunshine. Sunshine, go away today. Don't feel much like dancing. Some man's going trying to run my life. Don't know what he's asking. That's a war protest tune, like Mexican Americans and beaners. It's so stupid, man. Oh, what a funny, goofy thing. No, the Alviras love that. It's one of their favorites. The Mexican American song. It's wrong to sit there and watch stuff like this and think it's really happening. Because a lot of times it's not. Especially when Jim Parsons kisses Maya Bellick because he's a homosexual. Dust in the wind, man. All we are is dust in the wind. So it's not really romantic, And it's horrible for people to sit and watch this display of philanthropy as love and romance and be in that room all alone with no one to hug and no one to kiss and no one to, a chair is still a chair, even if there's no one sitting there. And a house is not a home. Yeah, damn, Damn. I'm surrounded by the most selfish, mean people in the history of Christendom. They put Islam on hold to mass murderers in the Middle East instead of stand up for the Islam of the Christ. It's absolutely disgusting. But at least this time we have quantum computing. And, technology has to work off of perfect commands and has to obey perfect understanding, perfect laws. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. Share, care, given accordance to need, built to last. How do you do that? Forgive, debt, and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace, right? Then you don't have those kind of private jets doing all kinds of things. Why are you flying? Because we're insane. I know. Do you know the Pope does that? The Pope does that, yeah. Pope does that, yeah. He does. He flew from Chicago to, to Vatican City, and then he flies to other places and gives economic speeches. We need to de-weaponize AI. We need to forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Oh, that's how you de-weaponize AI. I would imagine. Wouldn't you, Carol? And he's supposed to be the guy who's like Jesus on earth, according to a corporation. Just like that idiot, whoever's the next idiot of the Mormon church, in there thanking God for the joke or telling the Lord the joke. It's like, okay, God's omniscient and omnipotent. You thank him for the joke. You thank him for, hey, thanks for a sense of humor. Thanks for stupid people that we can laugh at, so we still have a sense of humor. Hey, look, it's an award-winning newscast. Go tell the joke to the Lord in your office where you make lots of money. The car dealers of Provo, Utah, and the insurance salesmen of Provo, Utah, and all the drugstores in Provo, Utah, don't want the Palidorises to move in because they're probably Catholic. Squid Palidorus, I don't know. You're kidding. Wendy Peppercorn. She'll blend in. She looks like a Mormon girl. She knows exactly what she's doing. You're funny. Okay, I'm going to load this one up. Look at this. They make these into an opportunity to sell things and to promote their products and their corporations and their businesses. Okay. It's sick, man. We'd done what that little Japanese kid did, building houses the way he said we should in hurricane zones and stuff like that. If we'd spent the last 13 years doing that, yeah. If we had spent the last 13 years moving people out of the boondocks and up to the heights, out of the places where it floods, forgiving debt and trespass and leaving their houses alone and helping them understand how to let the river go from the dam and then garden and come back and up because we have suitable forms of transportation to where it's not absolute drudgery, being a human being just trying to survive among a bunch of barbarians that are raping, murdering, psychotic Frito Banditos from hell. We don't need no stinking badges. Give yourself permission to be inferior. Then nobody has to be superior. Superior Arizona. Yeah, I've been through there a couple of times, especially when we used to go see the football, James's football games. Yeah. April Ybarra's from there. She's a little sweetheart. She lived there. She drove. She commuted all the way from Superior to PRC in South Phoenix. And I talked to her about it. She goes, no, it's, my mom loves the kids, and she was a single mom. My mom loves the kids, and the kids love my mom, and it's the best daycare in the world, So yeah, I'm going to keep driving all the way from Superior to here, as long as I'm working here, because it's I don't have to worry about my kids. And I was like, yeah, it's a shame the way you mess around with your man. It's a shame the way you hurt me. Why do you do this to moms and grandmas and children? Because she misses out on being a mom. And then when she's a grandma, is she going to have the same opportunity? There's a lot of opportunities to spend time with her grandkids the way that her mom was, because it was a different generation. Generational warfare of homicidal economics. It's gotten worse instead of better. Just to give yourself permission. Okay, I'm going to stop this one, and then I'm going to go, here I'm going to watch the weather report and all that. Then I'm going to go soak and watch the other two we made before this. And then I'm going to go to bed, and then I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to wake up in the morning, and, I'm going to make the most intelligent post made available to human beings. Okay. You can quirk x times py squared and everything like that if you're not understanding eternally with humility properly. And you're doing science projects that put life and the living at risk because you lack the capacity to be truthful about your own eternal existence. You are a dumb fuck whose brain gets in the way of the essence of self. Don't think you're superior to me. Give yourself permission to be inferior to me, so we can all submit to Islam of Christ. Dumbass. Smart people got too many. Smart people got too many. Smart people got too many inventions to live free from delusions of grandeur, Guys, if you don't think there are people with wretched penises, okay, that fuck and think themselves gods, with wretched wombs, okay, that give birth to mass murderers, just fly all the way to Egypt and take a look around and look at the architecture. Go sit in St. Peter's Basilica or Notre Dame and meditate and feel the hypocrites showing up, the mass murderers, the royal mass murderers. Okay, feel the presence of eternal mass murder in the name of their goddom and evil. Feel it, drink it in, take it in. And then never want to drink of that death cocktail ever again, right? You guys want Hushla-Postley? You got Hushla-Postley. Don't ever come in here thinking you're going to teach me something when you have nothing to teach me, because you're not humble enough to love me the way I love you. Okay, guys? I love you. Peace out, man.